Hello my friends, welcome to the latest video. Today we are looking at the 2023 Hyundai Palisade. This is their flagship kind of full-sized SUV, mid to full-sized SUV, 7 or 8 pass depending on how you choose to spec it out. This particular model is a 7 pass, but we'll get to that in a minute. It's got a sort of mid-cycle refresh, as they call it in the business, and she looks good. It was always kind of a good-looking vehicle. I like the way this thing's designed. It's very functional without being ugly, which is always a perk. You get new wheels, 20 inchers, which, I mean, they got a lot of spokes on them, but you can clean them, and that works for me. I like it. It's a good-looking wheel. Looks a little small, doesn't it? Because this is a sizable vehicle. No arguing that. Nevertheless, it maintains most of its lines. Most of the updating comes to the facelift they gave it here. Mostly focused around this grille and the headlights. Those are kind of the two big changes for this thing on the outside. And it looks good. I like it. This is the, of course, as with press cars, the Ultimate Caligraphy, which which is the most pretentious and stupid name for a trim level I've seen from a kind of everyday car manufacturer, but whatever. I think they're trying to crib the autobiography stuff from Range Rover. Nevertheless, they've in this particular trim level, you get this really shiny grille, which isn't tacky. It looks quite nice, and they've kind of made it bigger and more toothy for the mid-cycle refresh, and it looks good. I really like it. The headlights are nice. You got stacked headlights, and then you got your turn signals right here, right next to them, and it's a nice design. It looks really good. The color of this one made me laugh because this, I don't know what it looks like on camera. It's kind of hard to tell, but this is robust emerald, which is designer speak for green. Looks good, kind of like British racing green, and it's a nice color. Only available in the Ultimate Caligraphy, if I'm not mistaken, which is why most of the press vehicles you see on the internet are in this color. All right, we have moved inside. So inside the Palisade, I gotta say, this is the first time I've ever been in this vehicle, just to give you guys a little bit of context and reference, and I like it. It's a very comfortable space. It's well trimmed. I do want to point out the Alcantara. It is so soft. It's lovely. And if I had to be in this thing every day, that would put a little smile on my face. Sometimes Alcantara, I mean, it's always sort of soft, but this is plush. It's lovely. I really like it. And the ceiling is also padded. So when you, here, I'll turn this way. So it's kind of, you know, plush and soft. It's really nice. It sort of illustrates how much space they have in the ceiling, because you get rooftop air vents like you do on minivans in this thing, which is really cool. I like that. That's a nice design. We also get a rear view mirror camera arrangement. Here, I'll zoom in a little bit. It's really nice. I'm going to stop saying really nice to everything in these videos one day. But it's a very functional system. The camera, I've had it on all day. It's crystal clear, doesn't get messy or dirty, and the angle is really good. And the resolution is really nice. See, broke my promise already. Moving on to the dash cluster. This is the standard Hyundai dash cluster. No matter what what vehicle of yours, they kind of they put this thing in this particular cluster in every vehicle. I've never really seen one that's different. This does come with one of my favorite Hyundai features, and Hyundai and Genesis, they put them on both, are the blind spot cameras or turn signal cameras, depending on how you, what name you give it. I love these things. They are so functional and useful. I've heard some people say that they don't like them. I'm not quite sure where that comes from, because when I'm, you know, hammering through a right turn or whatever the case may be, and I can see that there's nobody I'm going to crush with my car as I make that turn, I love that. That's absolutely, yeah, that works for me. That's really, really nice. We have the kind of standard Hyundai steering wheel. We've got audio controls and some infotainment functionality on the left, cruise control, and basic dash cluster stuff. You can't really tinker with this thing too much, and that's okay. I mean, this is, you know, this is not exactly a high performance vehicle, is it? And this is the one I tend to leave the speed in the middle, and then obviously your tachometer and speedometer on either side. You get a fuel indicator, fuel consumption indicator. It tells you what mode you're in, and the modes are right here in the center. We'll get to the infotainment in a minute. This is the center console. I like the center console. This really works for me. There is no shifter column, and this used to bother me even as much as you know, a year ago, but they've done away with it. It's buttons. Everything's electronic anyway, even if they give you a shifter. So what am I holding on to? And this is not the type of vehicle that you're going to spend a lot of time. This console is not set up such that you could perhaps rest your hand here and hold on to it or slide, you know, whatever. That's just something sometimes we do. But in this vehicle, you're not going to do that. The ergonomics don't allow for it. So whatever, buttons, and they work quite well. They're nice too. I like the design and finish of them. This is your drive mode selector. So when you hit this button, the dash does its thing, and you can feel the car kind of shift a little bit between various drive modes. Ostensibly, there's a sport mode, comfort, or eco in this case, sorry, and then comfort. It kind of shifts the seat. I can feel it. Maybe you can hear it when you choose a different mode. I didn't notice a huge difference between one mode to the other. This is not the type of vehicle that I'm going to engage in sporty driving anyway. This vehicle is all about space, functionality, and good design, in my opinion. Nevertheless, they provide those things, and they are here. You also get this little button in the middle that you can shift between drive and terrain. So you can tell it you're in snow, mud, or sand. So you might use the snow setting from time to time, but yeah, the manufacturers are obsessed with the idea that you're going to take this thing bush bashing. I don't get it. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But you do get, as a result, you get hill descent control, various off-wheel or four-wheel drive modes. They're all used. You're not going to use those. Just put it in drive and go. We do want to focus on the infotainment screen while we're here. This is a really, really nice system. It has all the usual functionality, etc. It has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, if I remember correctly. However, it is wired. That is a bone of contention. I don't particularly care for that. I don't understand why they can't make it wireless. That's really, really silly. For me, when you slide your phone into the wireless charging, which is right here, and then it's connected wirelessly to Apple CarPlay, that puts me in a wonderful mood. I love that. I love that system, and it all makes sense. To have to wire it, I just don't understand. But I assume they'll fix that with an update at some point in the future. So you do get this particular model comes with native navigation as well. And I mean, yeah, again, every setting under the sun. So I've been using, I didn't even bring a wire with me, so I've been using the built-in media player stuff, and it's nice. The screen is high resolution. You get, where's the camera button here? Where did I put that? Oh yeah, there we go. I'll put it, okay. Perfect. Yes. Oh, hold on. There we go. Now I know what I'm doing. Holy smokes. Time to wake up. So this is your, this is the front nose camera, 360 camera. You can switch it around and you get a sort of 360 representation of the vehicle, as you know, where it's really nice. The resolution is good. You can see things clearly. It tells you if you're going to hit anything. Very useful system. I like it a great deal. Put that back over there. Perfect. I mentioned earlier, oh, sorry, I forgot to point out, we get heated and ventilated seats, heating steering wheel, all of them with their own buttons. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? Oh, makes my heart happy, I tell you. So that's really cool. It makes it easy to use while you're driving. If you want to turn it on, off, adjust the intensity, it's all right there. That's good. Very, very good. Keep it off of that. This is your center bin. You have two cup holders, your wireless charging pad, which admittedly is a little tight, especially sliding it in, like when you're trying to slide the phone in and out. Interestingly, I've never seen this before. Maybe I just need to get out more. But this, so you see these two buttons here on the cup holders. You push them and they do nothing right now. But if you, there we go. Couldn't remember which way. You can fold away the cup holders. How amazing is that? I've never seen it before. Maybe I got it, I don't know. But, and then you hit the button, boom. Boom, like Batman and his utility belt, right? You have cup holders. It's amazing. I love that. Pull the cover down and it's all covered. Hit the button and it mostly slides away. Again, wireless charging. You get a USB port there. One of 9,467 USB ports that they have in this car. They have a lot of power in this thing, I tell you. It occurs to me, my friends, I'm sorry, that I forgot to tell you about that. This is the rear seat occupant indicator something or other. Basically, it tells you if anybody's sitting in those seats, and when somebody is, it changes color. It's super quick reference, and it's really, really neat and functional. I like that. That's cool. And it's always there. It's just, you don't have to go into a screen. You don't have to select anything. It's just there. And that's awesome. another system I've never quite seen before. So that's cool. I dig that. Moving back to the center console, as I'm jumping around all over the place today, sorry about that, we get a sort of standard center console bin and more power. We get USB, USB-C, and a 12 volt, which again, we will see more and more of those. The Ultimate Calligraphy comes with Napa leather, which is quite nice. That's how you get the ventilated seats. And you get ambient lighting. You get this kind of funky looking piano black, but pinstriped stuff. And I didn't like it when I first got in the car, I'll be honest. But over a very short period of time, it's kind of grown on me. It has character, and I like that. That's cool. That works. You get two sunroofs, neither of which are huge. The rear one, this is the one up front, and then you get one in the back. We can talk about that when I slide into the back seats. But this one opens, that one does not. And yeah, it's functional. It's quite small up here, actually. This surprises me. I thought perhaps that this would be bigger, but I think the ventilation systems probably interfere with that. All right, before we tackle the second row seating, I want to talk about the third row, actually, because third row in a vehicle, in a 7-seater car, is kind of important. The third row in this vehicle is for kids, period. You're not going to put adults back there. It's too tight, and access isn't very good. Isn't bad, just isn't great. However, the system they use to get for the kids to get in the back is actually quite useful. So you hit that button and the thing slides forward. That's about it. You can give it a little nudge and then that's your gap. That's not too bad, but the seats just aren't big enough for adults, but easy enough for kids. So this is good. This works. They've decided kids are going to sit in the back, and that's it. Moving on, we get the second row. Now you can do 7-seater or 8-seater, depending on your preference. When you do 7-seater, you get captain's chairs, which I really like. I love second row captain's chairs. It makes a lot of sense because this vehicle probably, statistically, will transport 4 people for 90% of its life. Why would we not make them as comfortable as possible? I absolutely love that. Plenty of space back here. Shut the door. Why, I don't know. And in the back, you get an armrest, which is nice. You get space separation from the person to your right, and you get heated and ventilated seats in the back, all with your own controls, buttons, a little screen to tell you what's what, and you get yet more power, 12 volt, 115. I don't know what they're planning for you to plug in back here, but whatever you want to do, you're pretty much covered. You get, again, vents in the roof, sort of a la minivans, which is cool, actually. I like that, as opposed to popping out of the center console there. There's a lot of space back here, and I guess they find that a more effective heating system. We get a decent-sized sunroof in the back, which is good because it can get a little gloomy back here with all the black, and especially on a day like today, which is a wee bit overcast and misty. All right, so I'm not going to squeeze myself into the third row, as I mentioned, but I did want to illustrate the third row functionality. So in the back, you get yet more power, another 12 volt, if you're doing inflatables or whatever the case may be, and you get second and third row seat functionality. So if you hit the button, it reclines. Isn't that cool? I like that. That's a neat function. I've never seen that before in third row. And it's all powered, and then you hit the button below, and they fold up. A little noisy, but they work. And then you can also from here hit that button, and you get a completely flat surface. Very cool. I saw that in the Escalade not recently, and it's useful, especially in a vehicle like this. You get similar controls over there, yet more USB ports, and cup holders for the kids in the back. And there you go. But one thing I should point out, those second row seats, now they're down. You have to go over there and put them back up. They're not powered the other way, but these are. The third row is full power, which is cool. As we wait for those to go, and then you got to flip up your headrests, and Bob's your uncle. Cargo space is good for sort of regular shopping, and again, drop the third row if you get a little out of control at Costco. One system I wanted to highlight was the remote smart parking assist system. Comes on a variety of Hyundais. It's a really, really cool system. It has multiple functionalities, but the one that I enjoy the most is where the vehicle can just pull itself out and then put itself back in. You do that by all of it from the remote control. So you have to lock the car, hit the remote start, of course, because the vehicle has to be on. There we go. And then these two buttons here are where the magic happens. So the vehicle's now on, and you just hit the button. It does its thing, makes some noises, and then starts to inch its way forward. Very slowly, very controlled. It actually dead straightens the wheels too. And then you stop. And if, oh man, okay, no, I gotta go back into Walmart or wherever it is that you're experiencing this parking, you can just go backward as well, which is really neat. So the system is, I know it feels like a bit of a toy, but I think it's actually more useful than you might imagine. Certainly for, you know, I mean, vehicles get bigger, parking spaces get smaller. What can I tell you? So I love that, and I just wanted to show it to you. All right, everybody's favorite time. It's time to take it for a drive. Let's put that in D. Since we are going to turn around here, it's a good time to talk about how nimble this vehicle is, given its relative size. We were sitting in those parking bays, and we turned around completely, barely touching those parking bays, and that's pretty good. It's quite nimble actually for a vehicle, because it's not small. I mean, this thing is a proper, I would say, full-sized SUV, not a super-sized like an Escalade or something, but quite, you know, it's a good-sized vehicle, and it turns quite well. So the first thing that struck me is this is a nice, comfortable, neutral driving position. You could put some hours down in this thing and barely feel it. And that, I mean, that speaks to sort of the whole design purpose of it. And it's a very, very comfortable seating position. You feel a bit high up. I mean, you can adjust that with the power seats to some extent, but it's relative. You have a relatively high seating position, not quite as low slung as perhaps some other SUVs. And again, I think that's a nice piece of functionality, because it gives you better visibility and yeah, allows you to keep a good eye on what's going on around you. The visibility in the Palisade is excellent. You don't have any egregious blind spots, and you can see kind of everything you need to see. Those blind spot cameras, which I adore, are very, very useful should you be in a busy environment. You don't always have the time to effectively shoulder check. So you should always shoulder check, but you know, sometimes life happens. So this particular Palisade is the Ultimate Calligraphy, as I mentioned, still a stupid name, and it clocks in price-wise just under $60,000 Canadian. That's quite a bit of money. I don't know if, I don't want to spend my time in these videos complaining about the cost of new cars. It's out of control, we all know that. It just is what it is. I'll simply tell you what the price is, and then you can make of it what you will. Within the market segment, it's actually pretty well priced. I hate to say it. You know, you get a lot of car. This one, the only engine you can get is a 3.8 liter V6. It's not turbo. There's no mild hybrid. There's no hybrid, no plug-in, nothing. It's just a 3.8 liter V6, which is pretty cool actually. You don't when this the next generation, they're gonna completely hybridize or electrify this thing next time around. So let's enjoy a good old-fashioned internal combustion while we can. That gives you 290 horsepower, 265 pound-feet of torque. That is kind of on the minimum end of what you need for a vehicle this size. This vehicle is not light. I think it clocks in around 4,700 pounds, which is heavy. I mean, that's a lot of car. And, you know, a tick under 300 horsepower sounds like a lot, and it is. The way it's delivered in this thing, it's fine. It's just not terribly electric, but again, I guess that's sort of not the point either. All that power is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. There are no options, no nothing. That's what you get no matter which trim level you pick. So whichever trim level you choose, you get all-wheel drive. Hyundai's H-Track all-wheel drive. It's a good system. I've had a couple of Hyundais over the years. I test drive lots of them, and their all-wheel drive system is excellent. You know, you hit a big puddle or something like that, it'll hold you nice and steady. Does the best it can with icy and slippery bits, and it's really useful. You know, it makes this thing, you put snow tires on it, and it is useful all year round. So fuel economy. This thing is rated, well, the individual numbers escape me, but I think the blended is right around 11.2, 11.5 liters per 100K. I've been driving this thing all morning, and I've done a fair stretch of highway. I'm in a provincial park right now as an example, so that's kind of more urban, I guess. And I've been sitting at 13.8 kind of regardless of what I do. I've heard that this thing's a little thirsty, and I won't argue that, certainly versus what it's advertised. So that's something to factor in. So the Palisade, if you're going to get one, a couple of things: make sure it's a 7 pass. You want those captain's chairs in the second row. It's the right way to do it. Yes, you can get a bench and get an extra seat. You'll never use it. It's just simple fact. I had an 8-passenger minivan Sienna for years and used it once, and I'm pretty sure it was illegal the way we did it. So don't waste your time. Just 7 pass, and those captain's chairs are crucial. So make sure that is on your list, and pick a different color. This British Racing Green is okay, but it's actually it's a little stale, and I don't care for it. So pick something that's nicer than that. Play with the trim levels. You do not need the Ultimate Calligraphy. Not just because it's a stupid name. That's the 3rd time I've said it, but I'm going to keep saying it. You know, the other 2 trim levels that you can get come with lots of standard equipment and at a better price point. So, you know, if the leather and some of the other bells and whistles, the Harman Kardon sound system mean that much to you, fine, fire away. But if not, consider saving yourself a few bucks and go for a mid-range trim. With all new cars, I always end up asking myself that one simple question: would I buy one? If this was a type of car that I was in the market for, it would probably top my list or come very, very close. It's certainly something you can't ignore. This offers good value. If its Japanese competitors, as an example, are going to be more money. I don't think the engineering's any better. The materials and build quality are actually, I think, superior in this vehicle, at least, you know, in terms of initial quality. I can't speak to what it's like 10-15 years down the road, but this is a nicer place to be. I don't think, you know, Toyota and Honda are going to be as opulent as this. It's certainly not going to feel that way. There are American alternatives that kind of price in at just around the same price point, but if I had to go this versus those, this would be my choice. So this is a very, very solid entry. It's why you see them everywhere. You know, I mean, people speak with their purchases, don't they? All right, my friends, well, that's going to do it for me and for the Palisade, the 2023 Hyundai Palisade. I want to thank you all for watching. If you've made it to the end of the video, I want to thank you for that too. I know that's unusual, but if you've stuck with me to the end, I want you to know I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. I'm gonna continue to be putting these videos out on a weekly basis. Try and make them as good as I can. Questions, comments, etc., do post them below. I will make the ask for subscribers. People seem to be watching the videos, which is absolutely fantastic, but not a lot of subscribers. So maybe it's a one and done thing. I don't know, or maybe I just don't ask. It's one of those things. So I am asking. So if you find value here, please do subscribe, and we will see you all on the next one.